Sometimes the hardest part isn't choosing a turbine, it's figuring out which one will actually make sense in your daily life. In this video, 5 best wind turbine generators, I'll share what it's really like to live with them, how they perform when the wind is steady, what happens when it isn't, and the trade-offs you should expect. You'll hear both the strengths and the flaws explained simply without hype. By the end, you'll have a clear picture of which turbine could fit your setup and which ones aren't worth the trouble.
Number 5. 3,000-watt wind turbine. Living with this wind turbine feels a bit like having a quiet backup generator that doesn't ask for fuel. On breezy days, it kicks in early, even when the wind is light, and you notice your batteries topping up without thinking about it. That's what I liked. It doesn't need a storm to get going. But I'll be real, the setup isn't plug and play. No mounting base means you're figuring out installation yourself, and that part can be a headache. This is perfect if you're off-grid or already running solar and want extra coverage. If you're in a city apartment or somewhere with barely any wind, skip it.
Number 4. Rewindagic S8 8,000 watt. The power bills kept creeping up, and every storm season meant worrying about outages. That's when I decided to try a wind turbine. Not the giant ones you see in fields, but a compact setup that could sit on my property. It surprised me how quickly it spun up, even in light breezes, and I started noticing my batteries staying full more often. That part I loved. It felt like free energy just showing up. Of course, it wasn't perfect. Installing it without a proper base took some extra effort, and I had to improvise a bit. Still, if you live somewhere with steady wind and want reliable backup power, this is worth it. If you're in a city with barely any wind, it's not for you.
Number 3. MR5000 vertical axis. Ever wondered if a wind turbine can actually make daily life easier, or if it's just another gadget that looks good on paper? Living with one shows you pretty quickly. On windy days, the MR5000W feels like a quiet partner, keeping batteries topped up without fuss. That's the strength I noticed. Once the wind is steady, it delivers solid power without me thinking about it. But it's not flawless. It needs a decent breeze to even start, so in calmer regions, it can sit idle more than you'd like. This is for people off-grid or in rural areas with reliable wind. If you're in a city or somewhere with barely a breeze, it's not worth the effort.
Number 2. Tulip 10,000W low noise. I'll be upfront. I think hybrid controllers like this are one of the smartest pieces of gear you can add to an off-grid setup. That opinion comes from seeing how they quietly solve a big problem, balancing inconsistent wind and solar. Instead of worrying about cloudy days or calm nights, the system keeps batteries charging whenever one source is available. That's the earned strength. It adapts without fuss. Of course, it's not perfect. The setup isn't exactly beginner-friendly, and if you're not comfortable with wiring or system integration, it can feel overwhelming. This is for people living off-grid or running rural businesses with steady wind and sun. If you're in a city apartment or somewhere with poor renewable exposure, it's not worth the effort. Number 1. SMARAAD M6 5000W. A small business in a windy rural area installs this turbine to keep lights and equipment running when the grid fails. It works steadily once the wind picks up, and the 220-volt output connects easily to everyday appliances. That's the strength. It feels practical and reliable in daily use. The weakness is clear too. No mounting base. You'll need to figure out installation yourself, which adds effort. This is for homeowners or small businesses in regions with consistent wind who want renewable backup power. It's not for city dwellers or anyone expecting a plug-and-play solution. If you're curious about wind turbines, the main thing is knowing which one fits your life. That's why I kept this video straightforward. Links are below if you want to dig into specs or details. Check them when it feels right. My goal was to share honest impressions, not push anything. Thanks for watching, and I hope it helps you figure out what works best for your setup.